Hi everyone, this is Sefi from Firefly Migration. In this video, we're going to see how to integrate DevExpress Scheduler control with the Migrated Application. Here's a preview of what we are going to do. In this Northwind Migrated Application, I created this screen with a scheduler controlled by DevExpress with all the orders from the orders table displayed as appointments on the scheduler according to their shipping date. Double-click of each of the appointment will open a migrated screen of the order details. You can see the shipping date right here. On the left, I have a list of all the shipping cities, which I can uncheck and check part of the cities if I want to see only the orders for those cities. I can also drag and drop an order on the scheduler, which will change the shipping date accordingly. So let's see how we do that. Here I have the code of a new migrated application. The only thing I did is add a reference to the DevExpress integration. And by the way, if you haven't done that already, you need to download the DevExpress integration library from Firefly Migration repository on GitHub, and you're also going to need DevExpress controls, which you can download from devexpress.com. In order to build the DevExpress library, DevExpress integration DLL, you'll have to put the DevExpress controls in a DLL folder as explained here. Going back to the code. So now I want to iterate all the orders from the order table, so let's add a business process to do that. So I'm going to use a business process. Let's call it orders schedule. Take the orders entity. And I'm going to add a using for the DevExpress integration because we are going to use it. So now I can create schedule demo, which will help us to integrate the scheduler control. So let's set it up. Set the text to be orders. And let's iterate. So for each row in the orders table, I'm going to add an appointment to the scheduler. And here we have two options of adding an appointment. I can add it by the start date, start time, and duration, or we have another overload that accepts end date and end time. In my case, I don't have an end date for the shipping date of an order, so I'm going to use the first overload. And the start date will be the ship date. I don't really have a time for the shipping date, so I'm going to use time.now for all my orders. Duration, let's make it 2 hours. The subject can be the ship name. And if I want a description, which will be the body of the appointment, we can use the ship city, for example. And the resource ID we're going to see in a few minutes. So let's add the appointment and let's run this once we end this business process, so once we iterate all the rows from the order table. Okay, I'm calling the run method on the scheduler. And in order to run this business process, let's add it to our main menu. Okay, let's see how it works. So I don't see anything. That's because I'm in the current date, which is 2018, but the ship date of my database currently is between 1996 and 1997. So let's change the starting date. Once we open the scheduler, we want to be on another time. So going back to the code, and in the business process we just created, let's set up the start date to be new date, which we're going to do, for example, 1997, July 1st. And now when I run the application again, run the scheduler, we see some of the appointments because we have orders on those dates. Now the color is gray for all the appointments, so we can change the back color of the appointments to make it more clear. And the way we do it is by saving the appointment that returned from the add appointment, and then back color can be any color I want. For example, let's do it light green. And now all the appointments are light green. Now I want a different color for each city. So what we can do is add a color helper, which is a color by ID class. And instead of setting the color to be light green, we'll say color by ID or color helper get for the orders.shipcity.value. So for each different value of the ship city, we'll get a different color. Let's see how it works. And now I have different colors. Now I want to see all the list of cities here in this pane, so I'll be able to check and uncheck some of the cities that I don't want to see. So one of the optional parameters of add appointment accepts a resource ID. So my resource ID will be the ship city. And now I have a list of all the cities which I can check and uncheck any of the cities that I want to see or hide. Next thing I would like to do is when I double click each of the appointments, currently nothing happens and I want to open the show order screen. So in order to do that, we have an event, show appointment detail, which I can register to that event, and add a lambda expression that will do whatever I want to do. In this case, I want to open another program for my orders project, and the program is show orders, and the run method of show orders accepts an order ID. Now currently, if I want to attach some information to an appointment, I need to set it first. So let's do this. Appointment set orders.order ID. This will attach an order ID value for each of the appointments on my scheduler so that I can get it later when I'm in the event of show appointment details. So when a user double click the appointment, I want to get back the order ID that is attached to that appointment. So we have a get for getting that. So orders.order ID. Let's see how it works. So now when I double click, I get the show order screen, and as you can see, this is the Sao Paulo, and the shipping date is July 1st, 97. This is another order for Kelm, which is on the July 3rd. So I get each appointment, get me the right order details for the order ID. Next, I want to be able to change the shipping date by dragging and dropping an appointment. Currently, if I do that and double click, I don't see that the shipping date is changed to July 2nd. So in order to do that, we have another event called changed. And in this case, when I register to that event, I get some values regarding the change that was made by the user. So now if I look at E, I see that I have the start date and the start time and the end date and the end time, and I can also set the allow to true or false if I don't want to allow dragging an appointment to an invalid date, for example. So in this case, I want to get the new start date that the appointment was dragged to. in order to change a specific order row for my orders table. So first of all, I'm going to create another instance of the order table to get me the row I need to change. Now I'm going to use the update method on the orders table, and the filter will be o.orderID is equal to, and in this case, I need to get back the order ID from the appointment. And my update is going to change the ship date value to be the new start date that the appointment was dragged to. Let's run it. So now this order is on July 1st. Let's drag it to July 2nd, double click, and now it's on July 2nd. If I close the screen, open it again, I see that it's still on July 2nd. So the change is actually saved to the database. That's it. Thank you for watching.